Delcy Rodriguez, who was Maduro's vice president, is now the interim president of Venezuela. Is this going to be the same regime as Maduro's regime, just with a new face on there? I mean, is the Trump administration, are they saying we're committed to helping Venezuela transition to democracy? Are they saying that privately?
They don't say that privately, and they don't say it publicly. Donald Trump has not said the word democracy, has not mentioned Edmundo Gonzalez, the rightful president of Venezuela, or and dismissed Maria Corina Machado, the leader of the opposition. The only thing that Donald Trump has said has focused on the oil reserves that they have and our control over them, and that the tremendous leverage we have, and Secretary Rubio had talked about this publicly, the tremendous leverage that they believe we have because we are blockading their oil. There is my deep concern with Donald Trump saying that we could be there for a long time is that they are going to try to use whatever leverage they believe they have over the remaining regime leaders that they now have recognized. They're actually in the process of opening an embassy in Caracas. I mean, so they're going to reestablish formal relations with a country that is still led by a narco-terrorist regime, one of whose leaders, Diodatos, is actually under indictment himself and has a $25 million bounty on his head from the United States. Where is the progress and the possibility of liberty and freedom and prosperity for Venezuelans? All I see is the opportunity that Trump appears to have believed exists to control their oil.
I'm curious what the justification is that the Trump administration is saying to Congress about working with Delcy Rodriguez, because she was sanctioned by the United States. And Speaker Mike Johnson said this isn't about regime change. This is about a change of behavior and regime. What is the United States doing to make sure that there's a change of behavior here?
That is what I want to know. I have yet to see any details about a possible change in behavior, the treatment of Venezuelans, the oppression and repression ceasing, the release of political prisoners. What I have said a couple of times over the last few days is that right now it appears that we have cut off the head of the snake only to replace it with a different head on the same snake. And I mean, the regime leadership, again, one of whom is under US indictment with a $25 million bounty on his head, cannot remain in place over the long term. Why would we be there for a long time, as President Trump is saying, if we are going to try to establish a transition to democracy? This is for the Venezuelan community that I represent. I know that they are still hopeful. They're remaining cautiously optimistic. I want to believe that a process will be detailed, but when I asked questions yesterday, there were no details outlined, no timeline for a transition process to occur. And I don't know how they could have gone into so much excruciating planning for the operation to remove him without also planning, at least in broad strokes and specific outlines, to have a day after process. I just don't get it.